Hello and welcome back to Encarteraux. As you can see, oh wait a minute, I think that you actually can see that much. Just give me a second. Let's try over here. Hello and welcome back to Encarteraux. As you can see me now. I decided that from now on I will do things a little bit differently. I think that filming myself talking to you will actually allow me to show you more about Encarteraux. And it is easier than filming some random material, recording the soundtrack separately, and then putting it all together. We will see how this turns out, but for now, here I am. In this video I will tell you more about the changes to the channel and its content. Then we will take a look at the progress of the first house. And I will show you the changes I made to this room and how I added more space for Encarteraux. So let's jump right in. As you saw in the introduction, from now on you will see more of me. With this huge change, I will be able to give you more insights, better explain what I do and tell you more about my vision for Encarteraux. But filming myself isn't the only change that I'm making to my videos. Until now I just made videos showing the progress of the city, and I will still make those. I want to do monthly update videos where I will show you everything that happens in and around Encarteraux so that you always know what's going on. And I want to do two new formats, the first one being project videos. These will focus on a single part of the city, like this truck, or designing and building a house or a module. So basically a more in-depth look at a single part of Encarteraux, following a project from start to finish. This also means that they won't follow a fixed schedule and be made irregularly just as I finish a project and have enough time to produce the video. For the other format, I want to create tutorial videos. I'm by no means a professional and I still have to learn a lot, but building these models has already taught me a great deal and I want to share this knowledge with you. Just as the project videos, the tutorials won't follow a fixed schedule. Depending on the topic, it will be single videos or a small series of videos that I will try to publish not too far apart so that you have something to follow along. That's a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm determined to get it done. It will take a long time to do all this because I do it alongside my main job and therefore I have little time for it. But since I love designing and building this papercraft town and making these videos that allow me to share my experience with you, I'm sure that I will stick to it and keep going. But that's enough about that. Let's take a look at what's happening in Encarteraux. But before we look at the progress I made with the first house, I need to do some finishing touches to the modules that create the base for the house. As you can see, I still need to attach the ground plates to the base. So let's start with that. In my first attempt at building the ground of the modules, I just glued sheets of paper to the base cubes. But that didn't look good at all because the paper became all wavy, especially at the edges. I tried adding folds to the edges to make them stronger, but that wasn't much better. So I decided to give the ground some thickness and add stabilizers, the same way I did for the retaining wall of the main line. While this worked fine to keep the ground from warping, I had no idea how I could attach this to the cubes. I had to come up with something to create a surface that could be connected to the cubes. Some trial and error later, and I created this strange shape. A little bit of glue, and they look like this. And are now ready to be glued to the back of the ground plate. And now that this is done, let's take a look at what happened on the build of the first house. I designed the windows and the outer doors for the first floor. windows of the second floor have the same size as the small window on the first floor, so I can just reuse that. But I still need to design the windows for the roof and all the interior doors. This will take some time, but I already learned a lot while designing and testing the first ones. I had some trouble getting the size right. As you can see, I had to make several prototypes. Most were too big, except for one that somehow got too small. The difficulty lies in the thickness of the paper. In the 3D model in Blender, the planes have no thickness, but the paper I use is almost 1/3 of a millimeter thick, and while it seems like little, it adds up quickly. But I use that as a trick to build the train tracks or these wheels. They are made out of several layers of paper, and I can use this technique in many more places. But if I want to insert one object into the opening of another, like I have to do for the windows, I have to make the object I want to insert a little bit smaller, or else it won't fit. And since I wasn't able to find a simple formula to calculate the right size, because the way the object is constructed also makes a huge difference, the best way is to build one or more prototypes and just try if it fits. Now, the windows and doors fit perfectly, and I'm again astonished how much they improved the look of this house. I'm really excited that I will soon start building the final colored version of the house. But before that, there was an issue I had to solve. For some time now, I have been unhappy with the setup of this room. Although it is a relatively large room, there just wasn't enough space for my city. Encarteraux was set up on a rickety table that was always in the way, and although the city is still small, I was already running out of space. Filming was also quite difficult because I never knew where to place the city so that I could capture what I wanted and still have an appropriate background. The next thing was the desk I used. It was huge, but also unpractical. One reason being that I used it as a computer desk with 2 screens and also as working area to build the models. So I always had to shift stuff around and it got chaotic quite quickly. With so many annoying problems, it was time to do something. The first thing I did was to remove the huge desk and replace it with 2 smaller ones. Now I have even more desk surface than before and I can use it much better. I will give you a more detailed tour of the desk area and show you my process for designing and building the models in a future video. The second change I made to the room was to remove several bookcases to create a huge space where I can now set up my city. And I also removed the old folding table and replaced it with custom-made tables. And because I have already built 2 tables, I have more than double the available surface. The tables are so low because I do not only build the houses, streets, walls and so on out of paper, but also the whole landscape and the structure needed to create a hilly scenery. So I basically have the tables only because I just don't want to put everything on the floor, and I will probably need the storage space underneath. Once I add more tables, the wheels will also allow me to move parts of the city in order to access regions I couldn't reach otherwise. That's it for this video. In the next one, I hope to be able to show you at least the first floor of the house. It's still a lot of work, but it could be done in 1 month. And maybe I will start a second project just to keep things interesting. I'm thinking about making a colored version of this truck. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.